Hello there, welcome to the QNB Stars League preview show as we look ahead to all 6 matches in week 17 in the company of former English Premier League players Nick Summerby and Chris Makin. Now, it's been super busy this week, especially for those teams at the top because they've been in AFC Champions League action. Does that mean tiredness will play its part in week 17, Chris?
Don't be silly, Roddy. Tired at this stage of the season. This is when all the big games start. This is business end of the season. You should want to play in all these games. You don't want to be training all the time. You want to play in the big games. That's what it's all about. And by the way, all the top teams have the best squads, don't they? So they can shuffle it around if they want to. It won't be about tennis just yet. Maybe in a month's time. But the managers, you just got to switch it around a little bit. They've got the personnel to do that. And
the likes of De Gea and Sad won their AFC Champions League game. Al Rayyan tied, okay, Garaffa lost. So on the whole, it's been successful for them at the top.
Yeah, of course it has. Well, Ryan, you'd like to think that they're out of the title race now. We have to be really honest. So it's 6 games left. So they start looking at the other cup games, obviously the Champions League, but still good results. Garaffa's still got a chance, obviously, in the next round. But yes, good results for Qatar. That's what we want in the Champions League.
All right, let's head over to Shadin Wadan now, who's going to show us the league standings after 16 weeks and how they line up for week 17. Shadin.
After week 16 of the QNB Stars League, Al Dahel continue with a 2-point buffer between themselves and their nearest rivals, Al Sadd. Al Rayyan in third are now 7 points off the lead. Al Saliya make up the top 4 but only keep Slal out on goal difference. And Al Gharrafa are in 6th. In the bottom half, Al Ahli seem to have pulled away from danger, and Qatar Sports Club are also heading the right way. It looks like relegation will go down to the wire, with Al Markhia being favourites to drop out of the QNB Stars League. As for the fixtures, on Thursday the 15th of February, Al Dahel meet Slal at 18:55 Doha time. On Friday the 16th, early kickoff is Al Rayyan versus Al Saliya at 16:45. Later on, Al Gharrafa meet Al Khritiyat at 18:55, the same time as Al Ahli and Qatar Sports Club. On Saturday the 17th, Al Markhia face Al Khor at 16:45, and the derby between Al Sadd and Al Arabi kicks off at 18:55 at the Jassim bin Hamad Stadium.
Thank you, Shadin. First up, it's Al Dahel versus Salal. It was Salal who caused a little bit of trouble last season at this stage against the big guns. Right, let's remind ourselves, Chris, of what happened in week 16 with Al Dahel, and it was all out against Al Gharrafa. They couldn't cope at all. No. And Al Dahel just went on the charge.
Seems to be a real gulfing clash between maybe Dahel, Al Sadd and the rest of the league at the moment, and Al Gharrafa trying to bridge that gap. They're one of the teams that are in the Champions League, but in the last few weeks have been beaten by 4 goals by both sides, so Al Gharrafa, tough evening for them. It's just rampant all the time, isn't it, with Dahel? There's just been no let-up since the first kick-off of the season.
And they don't, and the second they spot anything of a weakness, Nick, they're just in for the jugular.
And they're the best at it. Got to say as well, this Musatni is absolutely on fire at the moment. But they just don't stop at all. Moaz has come back into the side after being in the 23s. And it should really be game over, but it's not, and that's great credit to Al Sadd. These are the important games now, where you're so near, you've nearly got the trophy, you want to make it to March the 1st to pretty much beat Al Sadd, but these are the tricky games here now. These are ones where you're Salal's, and it's turned around a bit for Salal with the manager. You know, this is their type of game. They like to ruin a party, that's for sure.
Yeah, because they've gone a little bit sort of off the boil recently, and then Chris, in week 16, hang on a minute, Salal were back.
Last minute in the new manager, just thinking it's easy, this job. Just gone in there and they've scored the goal in injury time as well. It was just the best start ever for the manager, and I hope he's got some sort of plan for the weekend. You know, they're going to get tested defensively, we know that. He's a very experienced man in terms of the football that he's played Premiership football, so you know, when he used to play for Charlton, he would have played these types of games all the time where they're under pressure. You've got to come up with some sort of plan to counter Dahel.
Very good win then against Al Khor in week 16. Let's just have a look at this from stats. What about this? Adel Alawi covered 12.7 kilometres against Al Khor. This, the highest total distance in a single game in the QNB Stars League this season. Are we saying here it's all about effort? putting the hard yards in. That's what he's done. And guess what? Other players around him have done the same thing, and they've come out with a win.
Well, I'll tell you, the biggest example was when Fossati won with Ryan, and he had about 5 or 6 players all covering that distance. This is what the modern day football is all about. It's all about fitness. You have to bring that. You have to bring that in a game of football straight away. And there's no coincidence that once the players start hitting these type of marks, they start getting the results. It's not really. There's not much thinking to it. There's not much computerised work to it. You just got to work hard in football. All the top teams in the world do it.
Very interesting indeed. OK, let's hear from their new head coach. Of course, he's got one game under his belt now, Talal El Koukouri.
Obviously, for me, as a first game, we won. So, of course, I'm going to be happy. It's my first game. The last day, they performed very well, especially in the second half. Obviously, I said in the press conference after the game, I'm not happy about what's happened in the first half, but I'm really pleased watching my team playing in the second half, even with one man down. Once you play against this type of team at the Dakhil, which is one of the best teams in the league, they have a good player, they have individual good quality. As you know, since you've been working here for a long time, half of the team they play in the national team, so they have good quality. Offensively, I have nothing to say. They are perfect. They can score at any time. But I'm really confident of Omslal player that they can achieve something tomorrow.
Really confident. That means he has got a plan, you'd think, Chris Makin.
Going off that last quote there, yeah, I think they'll have been working very hard on something during training this week. And
so, Al Dakhil versus Salal.
Yeah, I can't see past Al Dakhil still. Dakhil 3-1.
3-1 to Al Dakhil. Nick?
I'll say 2-1, Al Dakhil.
Next up, it's Al Rayyan versus Al Salia. Right, we'll kick off straight away with a few numbers from stats here. This was Al Rayyan Al Sadd in week 16. I just wanted to make a comparison. Okay, they lost the game 2-0, Al Rayyan, but when you look, right, there's the important one, 2-0. Shots, both 19. On target, 4-5. Off target, pretty close. Blocked, the same. Accuracy, okay. Al Sadd, 5% better. Really, when you start looking, these are just a sample, but when you look through a lot of the stats, they were pretty much even, Nick.
But you know, the difference with this game here now was the 2 opportunities at the start for Al Rayyan. Big games like this, it's about taking the chances. And we keep saying the higher you go up with football, you only get the one chance. You've got to put it away. Hamadallah had 2 glorious chances. One of them came from Allah, the cross again, right in front of goal. Different game after that, you know. But after that, all of a sudden, Al Sadd, they get the first goal, and after that, they take control of the game. It's only those chances for me.
Yeah, let's have a look, because that's what you and Chris both picked out. Chris, you can pick off here. These were the opportunities that just didn't go in, whether it was a good save, whether it hit the post, or just got beaten to the ball.
Yeah, the period in the game where they were getting near the Al Sadd goal, and there were good chances, like Nick said. Big games, that's what counts when you take these types of chances. The one with Hamadallah just slips in by Tabata. That's a wonderful chance. I don't think his first touch is the one that he wanted, but this one, superb cross by Allah. You expect nothing else really. He's done it all season, so make you run, he will deliver. And I just think Hamadallah in this instance here just mistimes his header, comes off the top of his head, where he should be heading it down there.
0-0, 30 minutes on the clock there. All of a sudden you get that first goal, it's a totally different game. And it's a totally different title race after that if they get that first goal. It's all about putting it away, you've got to.
Okay, let's hear from Al Rayyan's head coach, Michael Laudrup.
I think we are not in a position where we can decide anymore. We depend on what the other teams are doing. So the only thing we can do is go game by game now. Of course, it's more difficult now because we are 7 and 5 points behind with only 6 games to go. And looking at the history so far this season, especially with Dakhil, they have not lost 1 game. So why should they lose 3 games in the last 6? So it will be very difficult. But again, we will do our best in every game to try to win as many games as possible.
And it's interesting, in a way, they're up against Al Salia, who themselves have similar kind of problems. Nick, you and Chris both picked out, Timur Abdukolikov in week 16. He just couldn't hit well, he was hitting the target on occasions, just couldn't get the ball in the net.
There's a problem there. It's just not happening. And what do you do with it? Is that down to the manager now? What does he do? It's a difficult one because they just can't get it going at all. And all your key players, look at these chances.
The manager can't affect that.
No, you can't. But all your key players, all these key players, what you're seeing there now, are off target. So they've got to hope that they get that it happens for them. I think if it's an ugly game and they win 1-0, as long as you get that 3 points, it's just happened for Saral. It wasn't the pretty, I don't think, but they got that 3 points. They've got to do it somehow or other, but it just doesn't seem, compared to what they were like, even when you listen to the manager, it's not got that warmth with him. No, it just seems dead. It's flat.
Good point to come in on there, because we'll hear from him now. Sami Trabelsi, the head coach of Al Salia.
I think we lose more confidence between together. I think there is some problems in the group. It's not from us, really. And we try to get the team a little up and more up. We are not we are in bad situation. If we like to finishing in the top 4, we don't have. We can't lose more games like this.
Okay, I don't want to go speculating what we think the problem is, but he says 2 things there that stand out. He says there's a problem with some of the players, and it's not us. So there's something happening in the club that we don't want to go in and speculate about, but that would explain maybe why things aren't firing on all cylinders.
Doesn't explain anything. Never said what it was.
No, he didn't.
There's a problem there, but we don't know what the problem
going back to his downbeat demeanour.
So you're saying it's off the field problems then?
It would sound like
contributing to the recent form. I can see that because the shadow of the team that played in the first half of the season, aren't they?
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, they created some chances in the last game, but nothing like what they were doing. They created so many chances in the earlier part of the season against other teams.
Okay, so Al Rayyan versus Al Salia. Chris, you go first.
I've got to go Rayyan 2-0.
2-0. Okay, Nick.
Yeah, I'll go Rayyan 2-0 as well. I'd like to speak to the guy that's in charge of Rayyan and just see what did he want to get out of this season. What did they want? I'd love to know, me, because not in the title race now. All of a sudden the pressure's going to start getting on. Got to win something. So now the pressure's coming on with Rayyan, but I still see him winning this weekend.
All right, thank you, gentlemen. Next up, it's Al Gharafa versus Al Kharatiat. Right, we'll start off with the one highlight, Nick, of that defeat in week 16 against Al Duhail. And it was a bright spot, and you've been wanting to see more from him. Alaeddin is wonderful in the way he finishes this, but that's the only thing you can say. And they kept Schneider out of the starting lineup, maybe because of the AFC Champions League match, which they ended up losing, and only 3-2. But it would seem that the tactics maybe didn't work. Yeah,
it didn't work at all. Schneider obviously on the bench, but it worked between Amro and Alaeddin then. What we're seeing with Alaeddin now is he's a fantastic finisher. He does it very, very easy, and he's relaxed. When he gets in front of goal, he relaxes when people probably get a little bit nervous. So it's good to see him doing as well as what he's doing and picking up, because we were critical at the start because his running was away from the box. Now all of a sudden he's scoring goals, which is good, but believe you me, that's the only little bit of quality from the game. There's 19 points difference between the two sides, and you can see the difference on the pitch.
And this is a tricky one in week 17, because they are up against an Al Kharatiat side who may, Chris Makin, have turned the corner if we look at what happened in week 16, because this was some victory over Al Marghia. They were behind 2-0.
I'd like to think the manager's had an impact there, and he's got the character from his players from somewhere. Are they going to go on one of those runs, Al Kharatiat, where they just make it tough for everybody in the closing few games? 2-0 down, and then Deba misses a penalty, but they still managed to win it into injury time. What a feeling that must be for the players and the manager, because at one point before in the build up to this game, we're thinking, are they going to get a result? They're there with Al Arabi in terms of going down. It's a fantastic result.
But it's funny, as a club, with different head coaches, they always seem to have these spurts. They did it last season, didn't they? Won their last 5 games.
Yeah.
Have you got that feeling this season?
Well, they needed something. They needed to get it going a bit. I mean, that was without Tiber Kaneen, that. Tiber Kaneen's a wonderful player, and he wasn't playing there. I think Dieber is some of his form had gone down. After that's going to pick him up as well. So it's the same time of the season, and they've got the big result now. So all of a sudden, that's got to give them a huge lift. That it's about this game is important now. If they can get another 3 points, they're off and running again.
Right, Al Gharafa, Al Khalatiat, Nick first.
2-2.
Chris, Al Gharafa, Al Khalatiat.
Got a draw on it, Chris. Just has that feeling, doesn't it?
1-1.
Okay, next up, Al Ahly versus Qatar Sports Club. Al Ahly must have listened to Chris Macon and Nick Summerby in their appraisal or their home truths about them in week 15, because they turned up for this one. Chris?
Put them down for 0-0.
Yeah.
It's amazing, isn't it? Because they're going to this game not in the best of form. Without Chikawi, without Muntari. Nazrit has left the club. Hamza steps up to put the penalty. But they score 4 goals without without that list of strikers. So a fantastic result for Al Ahly, and it just gives them that breathing space now. Maybe instead of looking behind them, they can look forward now, try and get in that top half of the table.
Yeah, well, they're just off, aren't they? They're in 7th, they're mid-table.
I tell you what, as well, is we had a good conversation with the manager over the last couple of press conferences, and we like him. I really do. I think he's, you know, obviously when you look at him, you think, well, typical Spanish, you're going to try and play like Barcelona. No, he's not at all. He knows how to play now. He's willing to knock a few long balls, so he's going to mix his game up. And I think the players react to him. They could have just discovered a good manager there who's been looking after the youth team. Now all of a sudden he's been brought forward, made some good signings. And they are, what Chris said, they're looking up the league. They should be looking, thinking, hang on, maybe, just with a little bit of luck, we can nick the 4th position. Why not look up?
Well, at the moment, that 4th position, with the way Al Salia, I know, but listen, the way Al Salia, at the moment, they don't look like winning a game. They're level on points with Salal below them. Gharafa are a further...
I think there are too many. I think Al Ahly are too many points behind to get the 4th spot.
5 points,
yeah, no, but there's 6 games left. I'm looking at Salal now with that win they had in the last minute. They've got the impetus, haven't they, Salal?
Yeah, but is it a little bit too much for Gharafa? It's okay bringing Sneijder in, but what you expect to win the Champions League? You expect to get in the top 4
it's a lot.
from a side which is never really,
Let's just focus on Al Ahly for a second. Something from stats. John Benson, it's something you both picked up on in the review show. You said, what about John Benson? Let's not forget about what his contribution. 50-50 challenges, 8. Successful challenges, 5 he won. 2 tackles, 1 foul. The clearances is what the number there. If you just move back a bit, Chris. There you go. It's 7 clearances. And I remember in the review show, you picked out those moments where any trouble, he was there and out it went.
Yeah, but what we like is you can't beat a defender that defends. I'm talking about throwing your body where it hurts, sticking your head in where it hurts. He's one of them. And I'd say, was it Salim as well, the centre-half for Qatar? Those 2 there are what we want, proper defenders. And you'll see that he's been fantastic as well. So credit where it's due. It's not all about playing football out the back and being nicey nice. It's about being a defender, and that's what they both are.
All right, let's hear from Al Ahly head coach Jorge Perez del Campo.
I think every game is different, but we are improving bit by bit because we want to improve our style. Our style is not easy to change the mentality that before, and we want to take the ball sometime. We want to keep the ball, and here is not easy. And all the game do the same. For instance, the last game, the first half, I think we play good. We control the game. The second half, of course, the Arabi want to win and press up, and we learn to suffer in that time, and we play more to the space the second half. But it's good as well because we adapted in every circumstances, you know. But for us, it's important. Yes, of course, it's different game, and the next game will be different because I think we are improving bit by bit.
Certainly will be different. Because you're up.
He's getting a Manchester accent. Did you hear? Then he went, you know, we like to suffer like that. We went, where's he from? He's learning from me and Chris. He's getting into the.
Oh goodness me! Here we go. He could learn a lot. Let's face it. Against Qatar Sports Club, and goodness me, Chris, you know, have they turned the corner? Qatar Sports Club
certainly have. Mubarak. The coach has gone in there, he's changed the formation, played with 3 centre-halves now, wing-backs. Fabiano's still missing, but they're scoring goals without him. Amari was different class on the night.
You like him, don't you, Nick?
Good signing with Luis Jimenez. They've just turned the corner. They look as though they've got no danger, there's no chance they're going down. And he promised us that, Mr. Mubarak.
No, it's brilliant. They can win this game. It's a good game of football, this could be. And I do like the signings. This boy here now, he's great to watch. And obviously we've got to say as well, Fabiano, who's not going to come back this weekend. I think when he comes as well, I mean, what a forward line they're going to have, though. But brilliant for the manager. Turned it around. And all of a sudden the club's looking, another team that's looking up.
Okay, Al Ahly versus Qatar Sports Club.
It's a tricky one, this, isn't it? Are you thinking draw as well, Chris?
Yes.
This
it's
is
just a matter of the scoreline, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a tricky one. I'm going to go for a Qatar 2-1 because I came out with a few good shouts in the last show in case I've not had any no one's come up to me and give me a pat on the back. I've got a few results
things
right
move
there.
Quickly, we move on.
Nothing. 2-1, Qatar.
1-1.
1-1. Right. Next up, Al Markhia versus Al Khor. Right, talk about snatching defeat from the jaws of victory. Al Markhia, Nick, in week 16, I mean, we thought this was it, fabulous. Thought they took the lead, can they hang on to that? They did better, they went on to build on that. What was different about them in this match?
Well, just the quality. I mean, straight away you've seen from Eric crossing the ball in. Here's a strike. This is Salah. Salah. He starts the move off. He's got that determination. He follows the keeper. There it does. It spills out. He's there to put it away. 2-0 up. You think, well, this is it now. This is when it's going to turn. They've got the players to do it. It doesn't surprise me. Here we go. Surely nothing can go wrong.
And it did.
Well, the coach has gone now, Yusuf Adam.
Well, they have a new coach, Salemi, who's former Tunisia international, one of our colleagues here.
Flying the flag from Al-Qas.
One of our colleagues here at Al-Qas, according to people who know him, friends from Tunisia, said he never really wanted to get into management. Well, here he is. He's got the job. We need to find out what persuaded him. He's got quite a good squad there, but he's got 6 matches left. Can he save them?
Got the pressure of Al-Qas bearing down on those shoulders of his.
Can he do a Sam Allardyce? Can he do one of those?
How many games would he need to win now? Then from where they are, would they
got 8 points.
Probably 4 or 5, just to keep in touch with the teams above them.
Depending, if he gets 4, that's 12 points. They go up to 20 points. Is 20 enough to keep you out of danger? Not so sure.
Maybe three wins in that playoffs place.
Yeah, it's a difficult task for him, but it's about this first game, getting this first victory.
I think definitely if he's gone in there, they're looking at having an impact now and winning the next 3 games just to give themselves a chance.
They've got to, Chris.
They're up against Al Khor. This is Al Khor's goal from week 16. It was the defeat to Salal. It was a fantastic goal. Sarouche. Chris, back to his scoring ways, fantastic. And indeed, Al Khor have been playing well. Their performance has been good. If you look at the statistics, they're pleasing.
They've dropped down. They're only 1 or 2.
Beaoui, the head coach, will be happy with those, but what he's not happy with is the result.
I think lately they've had some terrible results. 1 or 2 teams at the weekend to drop places, them alongside Al Arabi. So the form heading into the last few games isn't the best. It's worrying for me. And this is a tough game for them because new manager, new coach, and we've seen what happens when a new coach goes in. Last weekend, they get a reaction, don't they?
So, Al Markhia versus Al Khor. Chris?
Oh, can I do another draw?
Your choice.
1-1.
3 draws that's been then for you so far.
1-1.
1-1. Nick?
2-1 Al Khor.
Okay, next up, it's Al Sadd versus Al Arabi. Right, Al Sadd, week 16, back to top form. Wonderful ball by Xavi, Nick. Wonderful goal by Hamroun, and looks like a team. We've said throughout the season that maybe they were just getting a bit of luck. They weren't at their best. It doesn't seem to be that anymore. No, not at all. Bunger's back, scored 2 goals around the Champions League, and obviously came on off the bench here, which you'll see again, and got a goal. It's theirs now. It's in their grasp. It's basically win every game, win the league. And I think end of last season when they drew against Salal, I think that played with them. I think it's in their mind, because there was a picture at the end of this, and they went to the manager, a couple of the players, and they were saying, "Yeah, we're here now. This is where we want to be." And they know it's as bad as what they played at the start. They're there now. All the key players are there. We saw Rafif coming in. Abdul Karim's back on the left-hand side. Everything's looking
Yeah, but Benezia as well. You're thinking, yeah, you can do it. This is it now. Win all, and that's it. You've got the league. I'll tell you that now. It's not. This is huge just now. I'll tell you what. Are you excited about it? I think they're going to do it, mate.
I think so. Well,
I really do.
One man who's going to contribute, whether they make it or not, is Xavi, probably to make it. Both of you picked out Xavi in week 16, his contribution. I mean, this run, it just shows what he runs. You know, he's still hungry. You know, he's getting on to his late 30s now, and he still puts the yards in, Chris.
We're normally doing Piero's on his passing ability, his turns, his skills. This is just all about desire. He's made, what was it, 60, 70 yards up there. He's gone past 2, 3 out-round players in midfield. But his passing ability, when it counts, is unbelievable.
And that,
the keeper's rooted. He takes it so early, he's not expecting it. I just want to see the pass for the goal. It was incredible. Goal with make the ball go wide. Don't let Xavi, one of the best players in the world, have a shot from there.
I mean, Al Arabi, they're up against Al Arabi now. They're going to have to, how do you deal with that? I mean, what a touch.
I mean, this is it. This is that bit of, you just can't buy this. It's absolutely. It all comes from him. That little bit of skill there, and then when it opens up, anybody else does not see that pass. From what he's done with all his career, he sees it. Just make that run, and the ball is absolutely image perfect. Into Amroon's stride. Next minute, it's in the back of the net, and it all came from him. And he's up for it. This is what his career's been all about: winning trophies, and having him in your side there, driving you forward, has got to give you confidence.
Right, Al Arabi certainly have their hands full in this match. Let's hear now from their head coach, Luka Bonasic.
Yesterday we make 30 minutes exercise for the shooting with Kari with some offensive midfielder. So sure, when first 10 minutes the Kari score one good opportunity for us. Maybe it's different, but I am like coach. I prepare. I say to my players, go to box and go to dribbling, 1-against-1 shooting. So, but still continue, like this. 1 goal, 0-0. But with this,
I just get the feeling. It almost feels like he's trying to tell us that he's done as much as he can. He just now requires them to perform, and maybe a little tad of luck as well.
Tad of luck.
I don't know. That's what
we'll go round. We'll do with a tad of luck.
Yeah, couldn't we just?
Normally, the harder you work, you get that luck.
Yeah,
that's what they say, but it's just not.
As the famous golfing legend Gary Player once said, the harder I practice, the luckier I get.
I knew someone had said it. But they don't look. They look a little bit toothless, don't they? Kari's coming to the club, but even he missed the chances. Apart from that.
Yeah, but you're up against the best. There's no excuses. Hopefully it brings some bit of fight out of them because it's a local derby. But you're up against an Al Sadd now, what are hungry.
Okay.
Al
Sadd, Al Arabi?
You said it as if you're feeling sorry for Al Arabi then.
I am, so did you.
4-1 Al Sadd.
Oh.
He might start off with Khalfan scoring the first goal.
Ah, interesting.
4-0 Al Sadd. Akram Afif to get on the score sheets.
Interesting indeed. All right, let's once again remind you where they are in the standings after 16 weeks and how they line up for week 17 with Shadin Maran.
After week 16 of the QNB Stars League, Al Dahel continue with a 2-point buffer between themselves and their nearest rivals, Al Sadd. Al Rayyan in third are now 7 points off the lead. Al Saliya make up the top 4 but only keep Slal out on goal difference. And Al Gharrafa are in 6th. In the bottom half, Al Ahli seem to have pulled away from danger, and Qatar Sports Club are also heading the right way. It looks like relegation will go down to the wire, with Al Markhia being favourites to drop out of the QNB Stars League. As for the fixtures, on Thursday the 15th of February, Al Dahel meet Slal at 18:55 Doha time. On Friday the 16th, early kickoff is Al Rayyan versus Al Saliya at 16:45. Later on, Al Gharrafa meet Al Khritiyat at 18:55, the same time as Al Ahli and Qatar Sports Club. On Saturday the 17th, Al Markhia face Al Khor at 16:45, and the derby between Al Sadd and Al Arabi kicks off at 18:55 at the Jassim bin Hamad Stadium.
Thank you, Shada. And there we are. We're all set for week 17 in the QNB Stars League. So from Nick Summerby, Chris Bacon and myself, bye for now.